My prayer is that this video will encourage somebody. I'm still talking about fear. In this video, I want to talk about the fear of speaking in public, the fear of addressing a crowd. For many years, even in class, I usually did not ask questions because I was afraid of speaking up. With my friends, I could be very noisy and friendly in the boarding house, but speaking up with people I am not used to was very terrifying. It continued until I went to Federal Government College Warri. I finished from Government College Ughelli, then I went to Federal Government College Warri to do higher school. And because I was reserved and timid, there were people who wanted to intimidate me, harass me, my classmates. Even though I grew up in the ghetto and I was quite a tough young man, when the intimidation became too much, I reacted and I responded. And one of them was so overwhelmed by my response that he now named me Badmouth. His younger brother eventually became a commissioner of police in Lagos State. Then the school week of activities came up, and somebody said that I called my name then, that why couldn't I just come out and do something? He challenged me. And my classmate then should be a professor of anesthesiology now, Andrew Amata, is a widely traveled medical doctor, and I and one other, I think Austin Adiri, acted a play titled Gripam. It was very funny, and that was the first day I broke that fear of speaking in public. How did it happen? I prepared for the drama. My heart was beating fast. I was nervous. But once I entered the stage, I started performing. I did not concentrate on my mistakes. I just started performing. And even where I made mistakes, people were laughing. Ironically, as I reflect on it, that was in 1976, more than 48 years back, I could not see the face of any person in the audience. So one of the things I realized then, that don't look at any person's face when you want to perform. So from there, I went to the University of Ibadan Medical School, and medical school helped me because you needed to present cases, but it was not easy. In fact, the first day I wanted to take blood from a woman, one fat, dark Yoruba woman, my hands shook, and the woman was angry, said, "Kinishe Dr. Eleyi." He didn't understand that I was a medical student. He didn't understand that I was a very shy person. I managed to take the blood after several pricks of her arm. And then from there, the timidity and the shyness started getting broken as one was made to address the public, the class case presentation. Then it came to a point that we needed to debate, inter-hall debate competition in the University of Ibadan. And Dr. Leroy Edozie, today is a professor of medical law, is a consultant gynecologist, is a prince of Ahaba Kingdom, the Obilinkanku of Ahaba Kingdom, and Dr. Kingsley Oye, that owns Chiwendu Hospital in Ahumama, Dr. Eddie Egesi, a consultant facial-dental surgeon, and Dr. Ndukwe, Tony Ndukwe. We constituted the debate team. And the Leroy spoke first. I was the second speaker. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking with my notes. But preparation, I memorized it, prepare. I prepared and prepared and prepared. When I stood to debate, my voice was coming out strong. And eventually in the Trenchard Hall, we were in the finals, I think with Kuti Hall or Sultan Bello, and we won the Inter-Hall debate trophy. And I became a member of the University of Ibadan debating team. So from a very timid young man who could not ask questions in class, I became a member of the University of Ibadan debating team, and Alexander Brown Hall team, the medical hostel, we won the Inter-Hall debate trophy. And it continued like that. I now volunteered to teach in the Sunday school. That broke the timidity more and more. I became more confident as I was speaking in public. Then I became Sunday school superintendent, and my confidence built up. It's a gradual process. We did not start in one day. Don't look at us like this and then you just say, somebody said I was eloquent, that I could deceive people. No, there's no deception. It was a gradual process of building up ourselves. Then you study, then you observe, you read beyond your immediate course of study. I had to read outside medical textbooks to build my knowledge base and to build my confidence. Then after that, at the Sunday school superintendent level, a bigger challenge came. I was asked to speak to the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International, the Binez Hotel chapter at Aba, because Reverend Don Odunze Sr., who I admired so much then when he was doing Family Circle on television at NTA Aba, couldn't honor their invitation. And so I was now made to replace him, and I was going to speak to the people who followed me up when I got born again. I got born again in their presence. People like Obiakeri J. West and several other prominent, Dr. Onwuka and his wife, Dr. Ziki Kora, several other prominent people, Moses Nwoko and several others. I was now to speak in the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship. Boy. And I don't have a good memory. So I prepared my notes. Learn to accept challenges. You are good enough. Forget your shortcomings. Forget your inferiority. Accept challenges. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. So I took the topic, I wrote it, read it over and over and over and over and over and over several times. I tried to memorize. Sometimes when I memorize it, I go to the restroom and come back, I've forgotten what I memorized. So I decided that I was going to be referring to my notes. And then I was praying in the Spirit. Learn to pray in the Spirit. My wife was not aware of my fears. Only me. I would share a testimony of another fear that I had. And so that day we went to the Binez Hotel. I sat down on the head table, service table as they call it, and prominent citizens of Christians of Aba were there. And I read the notes as I sat down, as they were doing praise and worship. I was speaking in tongues, but no person was hearing. My lips might be moving, and sometimes I just cover my mouth like this. You won't know I am praying. And then when they introduced me, the die was cast. I said, we die here. I took the microphone. My hand was shaking. They didn't notice it. So I raised a song. I'm bold, I'm strong, for the Lord my God is with me. I am not afraid. I walk in faith and victory, for the Lord my God is with me. I was encouraging myself with that song. Then I threw in one funny joke, and as they laughed, I became more relaxed. Then I started to speak. As I was speaking, when they laughed, I checked whether my trouser, the zip of my trouser was open. I was wondering. And then I spoke. But listen, when I finished speaking, the devil came to whisper to me that you just made a fool of yourself, that the people will not come the next day. And I told him, Satan, shut up. And I had a lot of complexes then. I had a car, the tires of the car were smooth. As I was speaking, the devil will be talking to me. I don't know if it happens to you, be talking to me, that now that you are speaking, by the time you go outside, your tires will be flat. All kinds of thoughts. Jealously guard your heart. Out of it spring the issues of life. Life is like paddling a canoe. When you paddle canoes in the Niger Delta, water will be splashing inside. Sometimes some of the canoes might have little areas that leak. Bail the water out so that you can remain afloat. All those negative thoughts are like water flashing into the boat. Bail them out of your heart. Remove them out of your mind. And the next day, the hall was full. And the third day, it was a seminar. The third day, the hall was full to the brim. And I was so excited. And from there, the yoke was broken. And somebody saw me speak there and said I should come and do a program for 4 days. And then it was called UCC Church, United Church of, I don't know the new name. And 4 days, my pastor was to speak with me. A pastor, I taught him in the Sunday school before I went to Bible school. And he said that he will not speak with me. He will not be in the program because Dr. Apoki was not called. I had not gone to Bible school. So I accepted the challenge and spoke the 4 days. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating very fast. But as I was speaking, my mouth just opened. I said, there is a woman here with pain in the right breast. After saying it, the devil came to whisper to me, Chai, you are imitating big men of God. What if the woman is not here? Suddenly the woman stood up and she was healed. And I said, there's a girl that sang in the choir, you are not born again. She crawled with her knees to the front to kneel down and receive Jesus Christ. I left that place feeling like a man of God. And it has continued and continued till this day. But there was another instance. I was to speak to the elites of Benin City. The governor was to be there, and prominent professors and prominent citizens of Benin City. It's organized by the Easter Monday prayer breakfast program. And when I heard the governor was to be there, and I was to preach a very hard message, I was not, because I usually don't look at any person's face when I preach about sin and repentance. The tendency to be nervous, the tendency to feel inadequate in presence of the governor came in. What did I do? I went to my pictures and took a picture I took with Professor Ambrose Ali in the House Officers' Residence at the University College Hospital in my final year when he came to visit Bendel Medical Students Association. Dr. Kingsley Oje was the president. And Professor Ambrose Ali was standing alone. Nobody was bold enough to go and meet him. I held a bottle of Fanta, and the coat I wore was borrowed. The trouser was, I think, was my own. The shoe was borrowed. The tie was not my own. And I went with borrowed robes and stood with the professor, the governor of Bendel State. and I was discussing with him, chatting with him, until others came to join me. And I took that picture and looked at it. I said, if I could speak to a governor with borrowed clothes and borrowed shoes, now with my own shoes, I can address a governor. And I told my wife, then I had only 2 pairs of shoes. I told my wife that, look, I'm going to preach a very hard message. If I am arrested, please take care of our children. And I preached a very powerful message, and people got born again. And the deputy governor of the state, Dr. Obada, a pastor of the Church of God Mission, sent me a message. He said, my son, I slept very well, knowing that I have a son who could speak with boldness, because I'm a member of the Church of God Mission, and he was a very senior pastor, the former deputy governor of the state. And he gave me 50,000 naira. And since then, and on, we have reached this level. Don't look down on yourself. It is in you. There was a man who was called up to address the British Parliament. I think his name is Lord Sheridan or so. He stood up to speak, and he messed up his speech, and people laughed at him. As he was sitting down, he said, it is in me, and it will come out one day. And that man became one of the greatest orators in British political history. It is in you. It will come out one day. It was in me. Timidity, fear of the crowd, nearly became a snare, nearly caged me. But I broke free. You too shall be free, and the greatness and the oratorial prowess and the knowledge in you will come out, and the world will hear your voice. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I hope this video has blessed you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, join my WhatsApp mentorship group, send a message to +234 705213 6763. We did not fall from heaven. We grew gradually with our inadequacies until God, by His grace, has taken us to this level. You too will get there. There's a book I just wrote. There's a place called there. God bless you.